How are we doing, everybody? I hope we're all good. It's Tuesday, the 26th of March 2024, and I'm back. I've been away for a little while recently, and I'll be honest with you, I've been a little bit deflated by it all. I've been a bit deflated by YouTube, not you guys and girls. Long story short is that I started to develop and build this YouTube channel throughout the autumn and the winter. And a carrot got dangled in front of me by YouTube to say, yeah, once you reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours in a given year, then you can qualify for monetization. I thought, wow, this is great. Anyway, the channel grew, didn't it? And through the winter, it did well. And sure enough, on the 4th of February, I got notified by YouTube that I was eligible for monetization. Anyway, applied for it. They rejected it. They turned around and basically said, reused content, not provides, doesn't provide educational use, stuff like that, really. And as you can imagine, quite deflating. A lot of work and a lot of effort goes into these forecasts. But I've sat here and I thought, do you know what? I enjoy doing it. There are some loyal subscribers to this channel. Let's just crack it on. I'm not going to be hitting it, quite as hard as I was. But what I will be doing is I'm going to be updating this maybe twice a week. Well, I will be. I'll be updating this twice a week, Tuesday lunchtime and Friday lunchtime. And what I'll be doing in that forecast is really just taking a look at the current situation in the week ahead. Also, a bit of a long-term look ahead as well, just to see if there's anything sort of on the horizon worthy of note. So thank you for all of those that are still here. I think, I've lost a fair few subscribers in the break, but yet stick with it. This is all about weather forecasting, and it's what we're here to do, spread the word. So, I'm going to make a start with it. I've already sort of rabbited on. Let's get back to the forecast and let's have a look at the winter that we've just had. Well, it's mild. In January, your CET was 4.7. February, 7.8. Look at that, 4 degrees above normal. Just shy of the 1779 record, that one. And March, 8.1. Still mild. Look at that, 2.5 degrees above where we would expect to be. It was a mild winter, as you can see. Down in the south, largely snowless, though up in Scotland it had its moments, and it's still having its moments. We'll have a little look at some scenes in a moment as we move through the video. So that was the background temperature. And if we just have a little look at some of the graphs, this is courtesy of the Met Office. It was very mild, as we've spoken about. Temperatures typically across England and many parts of Wales, 1.5 to 2 degrees above average. I noticed a couple of spots up there just east of Norfolk, and is that maybe Cambridgeshire, somewhere like that? Yeah, you were above 2 degrees. Further north, you were typically 1 to 1.5 degrees above average. Nearer to average across the borders and across parts of Scotland, it was closer to average, but nowhere was below average. Let's have a look. I'm sure there was another graph. Yep, it was wet. There you go. The blue indicates rainfall amounts above average. The most prominent rainfall area, certainly across the Midlands towards Lincolnshire, parts of Cambridgeshire, those places. But many places away from perhaps some areas of Northern Ireland and some of those Western Isles, some of those areas, they were slightly below average, or shall we say close to normal. The other chart, it was a dull and depressing winter, particularly so down across the south and the southwest of the UK. I know, living down here in South Kent, it felt like it was gloomy. And those stats certainly suggest that 65 to 75% of the average you would expect. But things were brighter further north. I noticed up there in Scotland, the Moray Firth, you had 125% of what you would normally expect. So you had some snowy moments and you also had some sunny moments as well. So a bit of a sort of a dull winter, particularly for the south. Anyway, talking of dull, this is the jet stream forecast at the moment. It's still relentlessly firing across the Atlantic, ducking down towards the Mediterranean and then back up across the UK. Low pressure is dominant, and this is the jet stream forecast today. The jet stream is a parcel of air which, in a nutshell, pushes along the areas of low pressure across the UK, and that's the situation today. And we just fast forward it a week, it's still unsettled. That jet stream still to the south of us. In fact, yes, quite cold air potentially starting to show up from the north next week, and we'll have a little look at that on some of those ensembles in a moment. So it is an unsettled theme. And talking of unsettled, although it has been drier the last 2 or 3 days, low pressure is now ganging up towards the southwest of the UK. This is the situation midday today, a low just appearing now to the southwest. By tomorrow, it's winding itself up. Look at that, 958 millibars just to the southwest of Ireland. The breezes will be starting to pick up. By Thursday, that area of low pressure really is starting to control things. There's a little secondary area of low pressure in this mix for Thursday that could potentially provide some gales. I've noticed that some of the charts, and I'll show you one in a moment, pegging gusts to possibly up to 60 miles an hour in parts of the south. Just something to keep an eye on. The Met Office haven't picked it up. They've not got a warning out for it. But yeah, just something just to be aware of. Quite windy on Thursday in the south. And then by Good Friday, that low pressure system still controls the situation. Lots of fronts, lots of rain at times across the UK. And even by Saturday, although most of the fronts have pushed through, we've still got showery troughs pushing up across the UK. But just note by then the breezes will be lighter and perhaps temperatures recovering slightly in those southerly breezes. Right, back to the here and now. So as I've mentioned, it is dry in some places. There are, however, showers across many parts of northeast Scotland down towards Aberdeenshire. There's another area of rain across Ireland, just pushing up into Northern Ireland at the moment. And there's a more organised band of rain now pushing onto the English Channel coast, pushing up across Hampshire, parts of Sussex, towards Surrey. And if we just take a look at the cam at Brighton at the moment, look at that, leaden skies. The day, it was bright earlier, the best of the weather is now behind you. Further north, it's been colder, and there was some snow first thing this morning. This is on the, I think it's on the let me just get that information. It is on the A93 Glenshee Road, and this is a fairly modest altitude of around about 300 meters above sea level. And this was what you woke up to this morning. Yeah, a fair bit of snow just on those fields. And even just recently, yeah, it has melted. It is late March. That sun has come out. It is relatively strong sunshine, but you will see that there's still some snow hanging about up there. Stark contrasts across the UK this afternoon with the temperatures. 15 degrees currently, top of the hots at Cambridge, 14.5 at Bedford, 14.4 at Northolt, in stark contrast to some of your northern locations. I notice, all right, Alnwick, you are at a high level station at 1200 metres at -4. But yeah, looking more representative of the lower stations. 4 degrees at Aberdeen Dice, that's just 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Altnahara, 3.8. Wick Airport, just 2.7. So, yeah, there is some chilly air across the UK. And if we just take a look at your 850 temperatures, there is some quite cold air sitting across, particularly northern parts of Scotland, reflected in that cold temperature at Wick this afternoon, with some of those 850 uppers -6, -7. So yeah, it is in wintry territory. I think over the course of the next few days, as this area of low pressure pushes in, we'll start to push away some of those coldest uppers from the north. But potentially next week, we get another swipe of cold air coming in to the north. We'll have a look at the ensembles in a moment. Right, let's get back to the weather now. So as we've seen, this is the situation just now. Rain starting to push into the south of the UK and across Ireland, and those wintry showers across Scotland. Throughout the course of the afternoon and evening, that rain will gather, it will become heavier, it will push north. Some quite heavy bursts coming through with that. And then once that's pushed out the way, we get a mixture of clear spells, but further heavy showers down towards the southwest of the UK and parts of Ireland overnight. Notice to the north that rain band pushing into that cold air does present a snow risk, particularly across the high ground, particularly perhaps above 400 meters overnight. So, yeah, once again, Braemar, you could be waking up to a bit of snow cover in the morning, but that should push out the way. And then tomorrow is one of those, well, low pressure controlled days. Plenty of showers around. A more organised band of squally rain will push across many parts of England and Wales during the morning. Some more persistent rain across Scotland, but yeah, that wind will be ramping up. And then tomorrow afternoon, that rain and showers will be pushing all the way across the UK. Later on in the day, those showers, they generally die away, but yeah, it won't take long before the next rain band comes in on early Thursday, and potentially here just the risk of a little bit of winteriness across some of those Welsh mountains for a time as it pushes in. So Thursday is a disturbed day. You've got this deep area of low pressure. Look at that, 959 millibars at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, coming through the Bristol Channel. Some gale force winds on its southeastern flank, as we usually get with a low pressure system. More organised bands of rain pushing up towards Scotland. And yeah, as we can see, Thursday, a windy old day. Sunshine, squally showers, longer spells of rain at times. Right, we'll push forward to Good Friday. So Good Friday, low pressure still in control of the situation. Central pressure of 973 over Scotland. Mixture of bright spells and scattered heavy showers once again. Some of those showers potentially heavy, potentially thundery. Yeah, on what will be an unsettled day. But those breezes, particularly across the west of the UK, somewhat lighter, although still fairly blowy, fresh to strong across parts of England and Wales. Push forward through to Easter Saturday, there is a risk of perhaps some more heavy, possibly thundery rain overnight into Saturday in the far southeast of the UK. And Saturday, a generally rather improved day. I think we mentioned it earlier. You know, we are starting to bring in lighter breezes from the south. Temperatures may recover, but doesn't mean we're dry. There's still a fair old crop of showers, perhaps some southern areas a little bit drier on Saturday. As we move forward in towards Easter Sunday, well, there you go. That low pressure still to the southwest of the UK. Just note we're starting to kick the breezes around from which was a southwesterly more to a southeasterly direction. So perhaps on some of those eastern coasts, a little bit cooler, perhaps a little bit of mist coming in, and still the risk of showers across many southern and eastern parts of the UK. Perhaps by Sunday, higher pressure to the north will keep particularly Scotland and northern England dry on Easter Sunday, but showers across the south, across England, Wales, and Ireland will still be pushing in, and some of those potentially heavy and thundery on Sunday afternoon across Ireland. Move forward into Monday, so just see by then this area of low pressure is now pushing down across the northern parts of France. Stronger easterly flow, still relatively dry, but probably cloudier across Scotland. Some showers on the eastern coast of England and possibly some more general rain across the far south, which will push up throughout the course of the day across many parts of England, Wales, and possibly up towards the borders by the end of the day. Yeah, you've guessed it, another deep area of low pressure well in control. We'll take it to the end of the forecasting period, which is this time next week. Low pressure likely to be sitting somewhere in the southern North Sea, likely to be bringing through rain or showers, especially onto those eastern coasts. More persistent rain across the English Channel. Just note by next Tuesday, just those winds starting to kick into a northeasterly direction across parts of Scotland, bringing in colder air and perhaps the return of some winteriness. We'll have a look at the ensembles in just a moment. So, just going back to Thursday, I just want to make you aware of the wind risk on Thursday, particularly across the channel. Right, longer term, where are we? We're just going to run through the temperature anomalies because we've not really spoken about temperatures in this forecast. So these are your temperature anomalies today. We're cold across Scotland, we're cold across northern England, we're cold across Ireland. Temperatures a little bit above average before the rain comes in across parts of England. But yeah, tomorrow, once again, temperatures around average, slightly below average in all of that rain. By Thursday, we're still rather cool. There's certainly no spring warmth on offer. By Friday and into the weekend, as we've seen, the breezes start to kick more round into a southerly direction. It's just the potential that things could become slightly less cold temperature, perhaps slightly above average on Saturday. So when we say above average, you're probably looking at temperatures of maybe 9 or 10 across the far north of Scotland to perhaps 14 or 15 across England and Wales. Those anomalies, they keep rather warm. I'm not going to say warm, but above average across the north on Easter Sunday, nearer average across the south with that rain around. And then by early next week, you just look at that. Those anomalies starting to fall away again across Scotland, as we've mentioned here, as that northeasterly breeze starts to kick in and could bring the return of some winteriness to the north. Right, we're going to check out this on the ensembles. We're going to go to London. No, let's go to Folkestone. We're going to look at the 850s. So a generally average or just below average spell of weather in terms of the upper air for the next week. If you're looking for snow, you're looking for minus sort of 6, -7 and below. So yeah, a bit of a cold outlier this morning for the for parts of the southeast, but generally staying sort of around average. Move north to Scotland, that cold signal a little bit more pronounced for the early part of next week. Across Manchester, both the control and the operational look as if they're going to be going cold at some point. And then if we move north to Inverness, well, there you go. The signal for a cold spell returning is rather stronger. It's still split, I think it's still 50-50. But yeah, I think if you was a betting man, you'd say that, yeah, next week's cold, if it does transpire, is going to be more limited to the our Scottish friends rather than England, as has been the case most of the winter. So I have rabbited on, but I hope I've given you all a fair amount of detail. This is the way it's going to go from now on. So if you do like these forecasts, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be hyping things up. I'm just going to be giving it to you as it is in its raw beauty. Please like, share, subscribe. But as I say, I'll be back again on Friday, this next time, with me updated thoughts. But thanks for watching and ciao for now.